Welcome, everyone. All right. So first, why don't you get comfortable? Um, let's start sitting up if you can, and then as we move into the meditation portion, then we can shift positions and you can lie down or stand up or sit, however you'd like. But for this part, let's start sitting, and we're just going to start with a little bit of gentleness. So let's just start with rolling our shoulders in circles, just helping your body and your mind land in the space, tuning into how it feels to move your shoulders this way, and then switching directions. And then some gentle head tilts to one side. You might even put your arm out. Actually, put the arm out. Yeah, that feels better. Put the arm out that is opposite of the head tilt. And then some of you might want to hold on to your head. My neck is sensitive, so I don't do that. And then just gently push your head back up to neutral. And then let's go in the other direction. And then that other arm can be out to elongate this neck muscle. Just feel that. Maybe even close your eyes and feel the stretch. And again, if you want to add more stretch, you can, but be careful with your neck. And pushing your head up to the middle. Good. So let's start with a few deep breaths. And we're going to do the full yogic breath that we've done before. We're filling up you're filling up your body as if it were a vase. So if you imagine the center core of your body as a vase with like this lowest part, your belly being the bottom of the vase, and then up, and this is the top of the vase. Okay. So you're going to fill the bottom of the vase first, meaning you're going to consciously breathe into the belly. The air will go into the belly first, and then the air will come into the mid body, and then you'll fill your upper chest and lungs last. Okay. And what you're going to want to see is, and you may put your hand on your belly so that you can feel it. You're going to want to feel the belly expand with the in-breath. So the hand or hands should move outward away from the body on the in-breath. So I'll just show you first, and I'll kind of try to I have the wrong clothing on for this. Let me zip this up and we'll see if it's easier to see. Okay. So first, you're going to breathe into the belly, then the mid chest, then the upper chest. So here we go. In breath. And then out. In. Out. Hopefully you can see that how it's like the vase is filling first here, then here, and then the opposite for out breath. So try that together for several breaths, yogic breath, and close your eyes and really feel the belly filling first, then the mid region and the upper chest. And notice how on the out breath, first the shoulders drop, then the mid body softens, and then the belly button actually pulls in towards the spine on the out breath. Okay, so again, in breath and out breath. In breath, out breath. Okay, so now if you've been watching me on the camera, now the invitation is to go inward and focus on your own breath at your own pace. So let's do that several times and then we'll add some counting. And soften the face, soften the jaw, and then release the trying a little bit, release the effort. So breathing into the belly, still filling up the vase, just a little bit softer. And now, instead of counting, I think what we're going to do actually, still eyes closed or eyes open, focused gently on something neutral. Rather than counting, just see if you can breathe out more slowly. And maybe you do this by pursing your lips, or maybe you know Ujjayi breathing, where you contract the back of your throat, kind of like Darth Vader breathing. That's how I think of it. But slow down the out breath. So the in breath is nice and full, and the out breath is nice and slow. And then adding in an invitation to your body. With each out breath, just inwardly in your own mind, whispering the word soften and inviting the muscles of the face, the jaw, shoulders, inviting a softening with each out breath. It's happening anyways, already happening. Softening is happening naturally, and you're just noticing it. You're just leaning into it. So we're not forcing the body to do anything because sometimes the body is holding in places and it's not ready to let go yet. It's not ready to soften. We're not going to force anything. So still nice full in breath into the belly. Nice slow out breath and noticing the softening. And if it feels good, then just saying the word soften in your mind as you breathe out. And as you are tuning into your breath like this, starting to notice the body, bringing awareness particularly to the body, just noticing what's here today in the body. How is your body showing up today? And this would be a good time if you want to be seated differently, if you're noticing, oh, this position is not going to work, letting yourself shift, become a bit more comfortable. You're in pain and it's too hard to focus because your body is screaming at you, then lie down. Be comfortable, be at ease. Noticing the body, noticing sensation in the body. And a moment ago, we were encouraging the body to soften. Now we're just going to release that invitation and we're just going to see how the body actually is, letting the body be just as it is. See if you can allow and welcome the body to be just as it is right now. Your attention may go to one part of the body and may rest there for a while. Take in the changing sensations of a part of the body. Notice how sensation is always shifting, always changing. And if there are challenging sensations in the body, you can use your breath. You can imagine that the breath can travel in through your nose or your mouth, and you can see the breath going to a part of the body that is struggling or feels challenged or tight. And imagine the breath going into that part of the body and bringing more space, bringing a spacious quality. And if there's a body part that you can reach with your hands, you can literally bring comfort or nurturing to that part of your body by gently touching your hands to the body. Imagining your hands as being loving conduits, healing, nurturing energy flowing through your hands. And if in this moment you're noticing some anxiety or fear, or you can try this at other times, you can put your arms around yourself like a hug and then just squeeze your upper arms, repeatedly squeezing the arms. If the body is needing a little bit of movement, trusting that, listening to that, maybe adding a little sway. The body has such wisdom. It will really show you what it needs. And if you don't really know, or this is new to you, what you can do is you can try different things and try it for, 30 seconds or a minute and just see if it feels better before versus after. Does the body like it? Does it not like it? And get some immediate feedback. If you're not noticing a lot of sensation in the body, or even if you are, The breath can also be a way to be with whatever sensation is here. So the breath and the way we were breathing into the belly earlier can be a way of tuning into how the breath moves the body, or literally feeling the breath as it expands the belly and then as it moves up through the body and expands the chest. And then feeling as the breath flows out of the body. You're tuning into the sensations of the breath in the body. And at any point during any type of meditation, you can always tune back into the breath. The breath is always now, it's always with you. You can't lose it. So it can be a grounding force. For some, focusing on the breath may not feel good or may bring anxiety. And if that's true for you, then trust that. And then you can focus on something different. So, like maybe your feet feel neutral and you can focus on the grounding sensation in your feet. Whenever something arises in your consciousness, seeing if you can just meet it, notice that it's there, and then come back to the body or the breath. So right now, we're bringing awareness to the body and the breath, which is for most of us in our culture the hardest. We're often more so in the head, in the thoughts. So I spend a little bit more time here. This is where most of us need more practice. Then beginning to notice the layer of emotion that you're here with today. And maybe it was already very present and you were already feeling it in your body. Or maybe the emotions today are more subtle. Or maybe you're feeling quite neutral. So just taking a moment to check in with your emotional weather and seeing what's here today. And again, using the breath and the hands to bring comfort if needed, and seeing if you can almost like you're feeling the emotions in your body, you're aware of them, and you're observing them. So you're still in the observer or the seat of witness. It's like you've got a little bit of distance because now you're super connected. You're more connected with your body, more connected with the here and now through your breath, and now allowing the layer of emotion to come into consciousness and watching emotions as they shift and change, and watching how emotions show up in the body. Emotions are really just felt senses in the body that we've given names to. So seeing if, even just for a moment, if you could be with your emotional state. And then if it feels overwhelming or like too much at any moment, then contacting the breath or the feet and, letting go of focus on emotion if they're quite strong today. If they're quite strong and you feel the need to move your body with any emotion, or you need to cry and let emotion move in that way, then let that happen. We don't need to keep anything trapped. We can Emotion is, it's like water, it's moving. And actually when we allow it to move, it doesn't last as long. Whereas if we keep it stuck and trapped inside, it can stay in there for a very long time. Seeing if just for a little bit you can let yourself, with the support of this community, just feel a little bit, even if it's just a little trickle. And then coming back to the body, coming back to the breath, coming back to maybe a hand on the heart. And whatever it is you're feeling, seeing if you can just allow the emotions to be as they are. Noticing if there's a desire to fix or change. Just seeing if you can be gentle with yourself today and let things be as they are without having to fight anything. Bringing comfort through the breath, through the hands, opening the eyes if you need to, feet on the floor, feeling your own groundedness. And then opening your awareness once more to the phenomena of thoughts, beliefs, perceptions, judgments. This can be one of the trickiest. This can be a layer that can really grab us and have us believing in our own stories, believing in whatever the mind is churning out in any given moment. We can get very caught. So, seeing if you can practice observing thought, almost imagining thoughts as clouds or wind, air. Thoughts are very ephemeral. They're sort of like outside in a way. Seeing if you can almost imagine the thoughts as out there. You're here, grounded in your own body, and the thoughts are a bit out there, almost like how we would see closed captioning on a TV screen. You can imagine your thoughts being sort of like typed out in the air. So playing with that for a bit, where you just the idea is not to suppress thought or get rid of it, but to actually observe it and taking a curiosity maybe of when the thoughts are less out there, less on the screen, and you're more like in it, you're really believing it. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's very human. But as we meditate, as we practice this, we can get more and more skilled at catching ourselves when we're caught by our own mind story, by our own thought. So let's for a moment, just a small, short, it'll just be a minute long because thoughts are tricky. Let's just practice for a minute together of being really focused on observing your own thoughts, just watching them. Good. Now see if you can observe your thoughts and have a welcoming attitude towards them. So you might have judgments, might have beliefs or stories coming through, and see if rather than like in some meditation, we're just trying to get rid of thoughts, make the mind blank. Rather than doing that, see if you can rest in your breath, or if the breath again is agitating for you, rest in your feet or some other part of your body. Or if you have a mantra, rest in the mantra, the repetition, and then just notice thoughts as they arise. Little thought bubbles, little thought clouds drifting through. Good. Now we're going to combine all of these elements into some imagery. So the body is very dense. I imagine the body is sort of like the mountain, the earth. So begin to picture your body as a mountain. It's dense, stable. Feel the solidity of your feet or your butt or whatever's contacting the chair or the ground. And imagine the base of a mountain, your own base, your own stability. Feel the edges of your mountain, your shoulders, as the mountain rises towards the sky, and the peak is your head. Feel the top of the mountain, feel the top of your head, reaching towards the sky. Feel the mountain breathing. Feel how grounded and stable the mountain is, the body is. Then you might imagine that there are rivers flowing through your mountain and top of the mountain, through the mountain. And you might imagine that these are like your emotions, always moving, always changing, always shifting. Tuning into the rivers of your emotions and using this as a way when you feel stuck in an emotion to remember that if you lean into it, you become aware of it, you turn towards it, the river will flow, the emotion will move. The emotion always shifts. We never stay in an emotional state forever. That just doesn't happen. So imagining the emotions as rivers, as water. The body is the mountain, stable. The body feels emotional rivers moving through it. And the more we can tune into the sensation of those emotional rivers, realizing that they're always changing, the less scary the emotions are because we realize it's always changing. It's not going to stay the same. It will shift. Mm. And the same goes for joy or happiness. The more we try to grab onto it, the more elusive it becomes. So just tuning into the emotional state, whatever it may be, being with it, allowing it to be as it is, allowing the water to move as it wants to, while also being human and giving ourselves comfort when we need it, reaching out for comfort to others when we need it. Body is mountain, emotions are rivers. And then we have the thoughts, we have this wind, we have this air all around us. So you might start to see your thoughts as this sort of swirling or moving energy around your head, and realizing that we can grab on to the wind and we can start to believe that we are that. We can get really identified with our thoughts, or we can open hand up, release it, and sit back and be the mountain again. observing the thoughts. And this is not a one time deal. This is something you do over and over again in meditation. And in meditation, you practice this. And then over time in life, you become less identified with your own thinking. And it's never perfect. Mhm. You know, get caught in our thought storms, our thought trains and loops. Body is mountain. Emotions are moving rivers. Thoughts are the air, the wind around us. We can choose to identify with them, or we can choose to sit back and be the mountain, watch the clouds go by, realize that those thoughts are sometimes true, and a lot of times they're not. A lot of times they're just stories the mind is creating. And with that, we'll complete our meditation for today. Invite you to join me if you can in 3 ohms and really tune into how the Om, the sound of Om, vibrates your mountain, vibrates your own body. Where does the body vibrate with the Om? Breathing in. Om. 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 May the fruits of our practice today spread outwards in all directions and help to end the suffering of all beings everywhere. Thanks for coming today. Thanks for helping co create this community and this energy.